So if you're already familiar with the channel, you can skip ahead a minute to get past all the bits and stuff that I do, and we'll be able to carry on from there once we do. So I think we're live. There we go, popping in, giving a listen. From there once we do. So I think we're live. Cool, that doesn't seem so bad. Let's get us up to speed. Mic check, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Let's get us up to speed. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Doesn't seem like much of a delay anymore. I was trying to mess around with the latency settings in OBS, so I would have been here sooner tonight, but we're having a hell of a delay this morning, so I wanted to see what was going on exactly, and it looks like we got it fixed. So, like I said, if you're already familiar with the channel, skip ahead a minute, and I'll be done with all my intro stuff and social media blardy blars. But for those that are new to the channel, hi, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and we're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's going to be publishing on the DMsGuild once it's completed. Just a quick hash about me. I've been running games in D&D since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2018. And with the release of the new Dungeon Master's Guide 2024 last year, or was it earlier this year? Last year, they introduced the concept of bastions into 5e, which is more of a passive expansion of the Acquisition Inc. franchise concept that already existed, which is an extraction and simplification of the Dominion style of play, of gaining followers and strongholds in the original first edition BECMI style of game. So, let's see. I've got, I think, like one more button to press here, and then we'll be into the thick of it. 5e has really leaned into the trend of becoming Dungeon Punk. Dungeon Punk was a 3rd edition term that came out in the early 2000s, basically describing the kind of adventuring that you're doing. It's going into dungeons and fighting monsters. It's focused around your character, and it was built kind of. 3rd edition was more like a deck building game where you're creating specializations in your character to be able to accomplish specific types of tactics and tasks by building your character levels, skills, feats, and spell selections to curve into that idea. But way back in the days of 1st edition in BECMI, there wasn't very much variety in the type of character at all. It was more really around what experiences did that character have and what did they achieve in-game in this progressive game system. So we wanted to restore that progressive game system concept in 5e so the art of it isn't lost to the new generation of folks that are jumping in. So we're creating this concept called the Bastion Campaigns. So we're going to look at that here right now. If you find today interesting, I'd ask you to like, subscribe. Hey, thanks new subscribers. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification when we're live in the future. And here's a bunch of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild. My Discord channel is here, and this is the document that we're working inside of today. Our Bastion Campaign playtest document. This is what we've been building inside of. We take the orders that are described for issuing to your bastion. The bastion is a fortress or like hideout, business, guild, settlement that your characters oversee. And depending on how advanced the bastion is, which we describe as ranks, depending on the ranks coincide with your levels gaining proficiency modifiers like 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. As you rank up, you can issue a number of orders equal to what that proficiency bonus would be, 2 at 1st rank and then like 6 at 5th rank. And you can issue these orders to your bastion to perform tasks on behalf of the characters, kind of like from Acquisition Inc., a more elaborate downtime system where you have a bunch of hirelings in these facilities that are performing those tasks for you, and then you're able to, you either need to stay there so your characters can be enhanced or assist in like construction of magic items and stuff like that, or they can issue these orders and then travel off to do adventuring. And we're rebuilding it so the way that the DMG 5e 2.4 works is that it's a narrative. It's the social interaction pillar of interaction in the DMG. So you basically tell the DM what you're doing, you're describing, and if it's on the list of stuff that your character can do, you do it, and then carry on. We're switching that into the exploration pillar of adventure by creating ability checks, which we're calling bastion checks, and skill tests to see how well your bastion executes the task. If you execute the task well, it does what you expect it to do, and you carry on. If the bastion does poorly at that task or fails the die roll, it creates a complication, which then opens up an opportunity. It's an adventure seed. Whatever went wrong in the process of issuing that order becomes an adventure for your characters to go on to resolve whatever complication it is that the bastion ran into. And once the adventure is over and the complication is resolved, then the bastion completes the task. So you aren't denied from performing anything that you want with your bastion, just like in the 5e24 system, but now there is a die roll mechanic that goes with it to either execute smoothly or to create complications that become seeds of adventure for your characters. So this is our 32nd episode. Yeah, this is our 32nd episode building this from scratch. So we've gone through all of the facilities. We're currently going through the process of properly structuring let's move this to here and open up the back end of this document. Down here is where we've taken all the different facilities and broken down exactly what kind of actions it is that we are capable of performing with them. So with any luck today, we'll be able to make more progress on this, because once we get through this this process of codifying how facilities process orders that are given to them, we should have a structure that can be replicated throughout any type of facility that a homebrew DM would want to produce, to be able to fit into the system and work the way that you would expect it to. So the 5e DMG bastions has very specific things that it can do. Like, they're quirky little interesting things. It's like, if you have a pub, you can make magic potions like they're enchanted drinks, but you have to drink them within 24 hours or they're no good. So you can't really take them anywhere with you unless it's like next door, to be able to like benefit from spider climbing or from heroism, or it's like a short list, like 4 or 5 different things, which of course the DM can expand on, but it doesn't provide any actual guidance on how to expand upon it. So a lot of the work in this book is codifying and basically deciphering what mechanics they were, I guess, inspired by when they created these options, and deconstructing it so it can actually be codified across basically any potion that you want to use. Maybe not necessarily in your pub, but your bastion is capable of producing any potion if it has enough time and it's a high enough rank to be able to perform the feat. So that's what we're in the process of codifying. So hopefully without any further ado, let's crack this open here. Grab the stack here. Let's drop down into the actual bastions themselves. And when we were here last time, we were codifying all the different ways that facilities can assist your characters by improving orders, having passive features, having downtime activities that characters can perform in a facility. Like a laboratory is a facility, an armory is a facility, a workshop is a facility. And there's 30 some odd different facilities that we have in the book here now. And like reliquary, library, laboratory, they do different things. So here's the stack of all the different facilities that we now have. Here's a ranking of how many orders can be issued, like how many facilities can be issued. Empower is more than how many facilities can, say, issue the recruit order. Empower is creating magic items and bestowing boons or charms upon characters, while recruiting is basically hiring monsters, NPCs, and specialists to work in the bastions, hirelings, or to accompany characters as sidekicks on adventures. So we've got our list here. We're looking at what orders can be issued to each facility and what rank of a facility or what rank of a bastion you need to get access to this facility. So it is 5 ranks, 1 to 5. If you're automatically ranking up your bastion when your characters gain levels, then first rank is at 1st level, second rank is at 5th, third rank is at 9th, fourth rank is at 13th, and 5th rank is at 17th level. So most of the things that these facilities can do are coinciding with what characters could do at a corresponding level. It's like a teleportation circle, for instance, we get access to at third rank because teleportation circle is a 5th rank spell, which wizards get access to at 9th level. So 3rd rank, 9th level coincides. And because teleportation circles are powerful, there's a lot of different type of orders that can be issued to the teleportation to produce different results. So scrolling down here to the teleportation circle real quickly to demonstrate what we mean. And when this gets built into a PDF, it'll be on the DMsGuild down below, just like everything else is. So go check out those books. You can see they're all full previews. You can explore these ideas. And then if you think they're cool, then you can decide to purchase them, because I don't want you buying stuff that you don't think is cool. But if you do think it's cool, thanks for buying it. So cheers. Stables, good. Storehouse, teleportation circle. So issuing the let's see, improve orders. So you can improve the orders of empowering, maintain, recruit, and trade. And then we have different unique features that are associated with the teleportation circle. Is when making a recruit check to obtain a new hireling to join the bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest result to the result of the check. A bastion die is like an inspiration die from a bard. You roll a d20, you add the rank of your bastion, and then depending on how advanced your recruit order is, if you have 1 rank in recruit, you roll a d4. 2 ranks is d6, 3rd rank is d8, d10, 5th rank is a d12. So you'd roll a d20, say, and you can't have 5 ranks in recruiting until you have a 5th rank bastion. So you're hard capping yourself on the rank of your bastion is going to limit the size of the bastion die that you can roll to improve your die rolls. But assuming, say, 5th rank with 5th rank bastion with 5 ranks of recruiting in it, it's basically kicking at all cylinders. So you'd roll a d20 plus 5 plus a d12. So you'd have basically a result range of 7 to 37. And the difficulties of tasks are also broken up into 5s, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the most difficult task you can possibly perform is going to be nearly impossible, which is described as DC 30 in the DMG. And the 5th rank bastion can roll a d20 plus d12 plus 5, get up to a 37. So basically you've got like a 1 in 4 chance of succeeding at a DC 30 check when you have a 5th rank bastion. Before that, it's virtually impossible for you to roll it. So lower rank bastions aren't going to be able to hit that DC 30. Things like discovering Asmodeus's true name, like that'd be a DC 30 task. So like if you can't properly research Asmodeus's name unless you have colossal resources available to your characters to research with. That's what the 5 ranks in research would represent in a 5th rank bastion. That is now setting the task to learn Asmodeus's true name. So like, say if your characters want to go kick his ass, you'll know his true name to be able to take control of him, for example. So, let's see. Okay, great. So recruiting orders is either hiring people or it's sending off spies or armies to sabotage or destroy enemy bastions and settlements, or rival bastions and enemy settlements. So the recruit order is to recruit a bunch of soldiers or recruit spies to go attack that other. My phone's over there. I need to go grab my phone because the timer's going off. Hey! There we go. So I can recruit to hire people, and then I can recruit to send troops off to attack something for me. And then trade is finding items, like non-magical or magical items, as well as materials to create items I can do that through trade. So when making a trade check to obtain materials or non or magical items, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. When making a trade check to I don't necessarily need all this stuff. To obtain a new hireling, or resolve a complication. That's actually language that we need. There we go. Complicate. When making a recruit check to obtain a new material or to resolve a complication. There we go. It's actually important, so I need to go through and list that. Because you can you can issue a crafting order to create something, but you can also, you might have to issue a crafting order to resolve a complication. Non-magical item, issue the craft order. Let's see. When you issue the research, when you issue, no, that's right. When making a research check to obtain information or to resolve a complication, you can blah. Okay, that's good. I want to go through these. When making a maintain check to defend the bastion, comma, or to resolve a complication. To defend the bastion or to resolve a complication. Good. We're making a trade check to obtain material. We're making a trade check to obtain materials. Materials, comma, non/magical items, comma, or to resolve a complication. There we go. Not every facility can gain bonuses. So what this is saying is, like, when I'm making a maintain check to defend the bastion or to resolve a complication, you can roll an additional bastion die. So like if we had a third rank facility that is rolling a D8 whenever I make a bastion check, with this unique feature, I can instead roll 2 dice and keep the better of the 2 rolls and add it to my D20 and the rank of my bastion. When making a trade check to obtain materials, non-magical items, or to resolve, there we go. When making a maintain check to defend the bastion, comma, or to resolve a complication. Recruit, when making a recruit check to attack a bastion, settlement, a bastion, settlement, or to resolve a complication. Crypt, when making a maintain check to defend the bastion, comma, or to resolve a complication. So you can have multiple dice. If I have 3 facilities and each of them allow me to roll an extra die, then when I roll that die, I'm going to roll 4 of them and I'll keep the best result. So if you really want to get good at maintaining security for your bastion, you're going to want to have a barracks, a crypt, a menagerie, and a spy network operating out of your facility. So you have all these resources, all these hirelings and personnel to protect your bastion from harm by rolling a higher bastion die to add to your d20. When making a bastion check to provide a lifestyle to the bastion and hirelings, or to resolve a complication, comma, roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result. Period. What's up? Hey, Steve, how you doing? I don't have nearly as much time tonight as I would normally like, but I'm happy that I have some time. So let's scroll back up here. Or to resolve, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. There you go. Demiplane, let's drop down here to comma. There. It's a little bit of redundancy right now. So obtain plant materials, comma, or to resolve a complication. Everything can basically resolve a complication. There's a lot of redundancy in this language. Materials, to obtain materials, non/magical items, comma, or to resolve a complication. There we go. There's not a ton of these, but there's enough. Comma. Okay, non-magical item, comma, to create a magical item, comma, new hirelings to join the bastion, comma, obtain materials, comma, non-magical items, comma, or to resolve a complication. Almost there. To obtain mineral materials, complication. Ooh, good point. Mineral materials, good. Harvest mineral materials. Research to obtain information, comma, or to resolve a complication. Empower action. There's a lot of redundancy here, I recognize, but I think it's better right now. It's better to be over clarify than to under clarify, since this is in the playtesting. We're not even playtesting yet, technically. When making a maintain order to provide a lifestyle to the bastions and hirelings, comma. There's that, and we're almost done with this part. And then we'll move on to the next bit. Magical items, comma. We're gonna have to do some brain analysis. We're going to be doing some brain work with analysis after this. So I'm kind of happy to have a little bit of a dead brain thing to do here for a few minutes. Obtain minerals. To attack a bastion or settlement. Obtain information, comma. Scrolling down. Harvest to obtain animal materials or to blah. Obtain plant animal materials or to resolve a complication. To check. Cool. No, wait. Good. And T-port circle, adding the highest. There. Bastion settlement. A bastion settlement or to resolve a complication. Obtain materials, comma, non/magical items, comma, or to resolve a complication. Theater doesn't do that. Training area doesn't do that. Almost there. Stay on target. Trophy room, comma, 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 comma. comma, 1, 2, 3. And workshop almost done. And okay, that's all of them. So let me check my phone's blurping at me real quick. Okay, so let me see if everything's square. Yeah, it looks like everything's square. Cool. Okay, great. So we got through all of that. We've updated our. So there's 4 ways that facilities benefit us. They can improve orders, which again, like for example, if we're looking at a workshop, workshops can improve both crafting and empowering. Craft, empower, and the main comma maintain. So let's go back up here real quick. Let's go down here to our list and let's go look at the workshop. And yeah, workshop has maintain. And it's already set. Good. And improve orders. We can, if you have a workshop, you have a stack of bastion points, which is like mana that you spend. Like mana you spend to cast spells. Bastion points you spend to improve, to acquire and improve facilities. So if I have, if I have a bastion point that's available, I could spend that point to get a workshop. And when I spend that point, I would choose, am I going to put that point to improve craft, empower, or maintain? So every time I put a point into the workshop, I will improve one of these. And again, I can have like a dozen different facilities that will improve my craft order, but my craft order can't be better than the rank of my bastion. So a first rank bastion is limited to basically you only get credit for 1 point of craft or 1 point of empower or 1 point of maintain. And so at first rank as a bastion, if you have a point in craft, when you issue an order to craft something, you'd roll your d20 plus 1 and then plus a d4. So that's how that mechanic works. And if I hit the DC 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, depending on the value of the item or the complexity or difficulty of the item I'm trying to create, that'll determine whether I'm successful or not. If I fail the die roll, it creates a complication that I either send adventurers off to have an adventure that at the conclusion of that adventure, they're able to resolve that complication. Or if you have orders that you haven't yet issued and you have a complication, you could then issue an additional order to try to resolve the complication without having characters involved. And so that's where we have that language up here about like if it's like a crafting check, I can't issue a crafting order to solve the a complication caused by crafting. You can't solve a problem by issuing the same order again. You have to issue a different order. And there's a D6 tables down below that tell you, well, if it's a crafting order you're attempting and you screw it up, roll a D6, and that'll tell you which of those other 6 orders can be used to resolve the complication. So if I were to roll, like, say, a 2, it would be, and it was crafting, then it would be, like, say, harvest. So I would have to harvest some sort of material to be able to resolve the crafting complication. Like, I ran out of iron. I can't finish this suit of armor because I don't have enough iron. Well, I could send my characters off on an adventure to find and retrieve a source of iron, or I could issue a second order in the harvest as a harvest order to resolve the complication. And if I have facilities up here that allow me to roll a die to resolve complications, like the laboratory, for instance, if we're talking about the crafting order to create a suit of armor was glitched, if I have a laboratory, and I'm just rolling up here to show it to you because, show me. Laboratory. So harvest. When making a harvest check to obtain mineral materials or to resolve a complication, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. So if I'm going to use the harvest action to resolve the complication that I don't have any iron, because I have a laboratory in my facility as one of my facilities, instead of rolling that, say, D4 at first rank, I'll instead roll 2 4-sided dice and keep the better of those 2 results and add it to the D20 plus 1. So, and then if I had a smithy, a smithy also, I think, does the smithy increase harvest? Hold on. And we're gonna have a tracking sheet, a bastion tracking. Yeah, harvest. When you try to check to obtain mineral materials or resolve a complication. So if I had a smithy and a laboratory and I wasn't able to make the set of armor because the crafting roll says the complication is because I don't have enough material, with my smithy and my laboratory on top of simply being able to issue the harvest order, I now roll 3 4-sided dice and keep the best of those 3 results and add it to my D20 plus my rank. So even though, like at first rank, a smithy has harvest, and the laboratory has harvest, and say, I don't know, like a granary has a harvest, all 3 of those could have a point. Each of those could have a point in harvest. Because I'm only a first rank I'm only a first rank bastion, I only get to apply 1 of those points. But if I gain second rank, then I already have 3 points in harvesting. So once I get to 3rd rank, I would already have enough facilities to support a D8 on my harvest rolls, as opposed to a D4 at 1st rank, D6 at 2nd rank, D10 at 4th rank, D12 at 5th rank. So you can have like a dozen or even 20 points in crafting, but you'll never get better at adding a D12. But you would then likely be able to add multiple D12s to be able to get a higher result. So that's a way for you to be able to like to outscale the D12 without having to like add like 2D8 and then a D20 and then like 3D8. And instead of making it complicated like that, it's just, no, you just get multiple dice and you keep the best result. So you're statistically going to get closer and closer to 12, even though the first die may have gotten there. It's far more statistically likely that you get a 12 instead of a 2. So that's the idea. So now that we have all that stuff codified and we have a rough idea of how complications work, we've spent the last 30 episodes talking about this, so I'm being brief, but if it's interesting to you, catch the previous episodes. Now we're going to look at passive features. So I would say that the improve orders is resolved. Let's add in exclamation points. And now we're going to look at passive features. So passive features are just when a character benefits by just simply being there. You don't have to issue an order, but generally your character has to be at the bastion. So like if you want to make say your character wants to research a new magic spell, you could have the archive research that spell for you, making a bastion roll like usual, and then you can go off on adventuring, and in the next week they'll have an update for you. Or if instead you decide to stay, the passive benefit that you would get from the archive, or the passive feature from the archive, would be that your character makes the ability check, but you add the bastion dice to that character's ability check. You can't sustain a bardic inspiration die for a full week, but that's essentially what you're doing. Your character's making an ability check, like an intelligence knowledge check, for instance, or intelligence investigation check, take your pick. And then if it's like, say, a 3rd rank bastion and you've got like 3 facilities that'll give you dice to when you're performing the research action, then your character will make their ability check, their D20 plus their proficiency bonus plus their ability bonus, and then they would add 3rd rank bastion, they'd add 3, they'd roll 3 8-sided dice and keep the best result and add it to the ability check, just like a bardic inspiration die. So in that sense, if your character stays at the facility this week and does the research with the help of your facilities, then you're likely to get a much better result than if the bastion had done it on its own, or if your character had done it on its own in a library you weren't familiar with. So having your character work in synergy with the bastion that character controls, you're far more likely to succeed at these downtime activities. So it is encouraging you to have a Bastion if your game wants to have downtime activities. If your team doesn't want downtime activities but sees the benefits that the Bastion provides, then just issue orders to your Bastion while your characters are off adventuring and ignore downtime. You can just keep rolling. Where did I go? What happened? Oh. I hit my mouse. I was being too expressive. Right. So that's what a passive benefit is. Or like, stay here for a week and you get temporary hit points equal to your character level. Or stay here for a week and you have a free recall spell that you can cast that'll bring you right back to this Bastion. These are passive features. We should probably call them passive benefits. You think? We'll see. And maybe we'll have to see when we go through, and we're going to start doing that literally right now. When we go through all of these and we find passive features, we're going to start listing off what all these passive features are, so we know what we're actually talking about. So let's go to here and let's go to here. Here's the stack of stuff that your facilities can do. These are the different orders. Like we have create non-magical items. That's an order. Reduce time to create non-magical items. Like that. If we end up keeping that, like that would be a passive feature. If you have this facility while you're crafting stuff, you make things faster. Let's see, create magic, non-magical items, right. And then empower is creating magical items. Character gains a boon like we were just talking about. Cast spell effect on the character like recall like we were talking about. Reduce the time to create magic items. That's a passive feature. These are all passive benefits. This is an order. This is a passive benefit. This is a passive benefit. This is a passive feature that affects orders. Short rest equals up to a 5th level spell slot can be regained while you're taking short rest in this facility. That is a passive benefit. Gain temporary hit points. That is also a passive benefit. Gain word of recall to use the sanctum as your destination. That is also a passive benefit. Divine charm, like creating divine charms or arcane charms, druidic charms, or any charm in general. That's basically the same as creating a magic item, which is an order. So we can go, like for example, we can go here, cut, and paste. For example, orders. And then these would be features. And technically, they're all features. I guess this would be a facility benefit. Benefit. There we go. We can just call them benefits in general. I think that's probably a better term. But like that's the idea. So we're going to go through all of the options that are in the facilities. So passive benefits. There. So I guess let's get cracking. Let's find the last and head our way to the front. Workshop. So these are things that we've already approved. They're unique. These are the improve orders. And these are technically passive benefits. Let's see if there's additional passive benefits. You can issue the craft order to create non-magical items. That's an order. You can issue the empower order to create magical items. That's an order. You can issue the empower order to create golems. That is also an order. So the workshop does not currently have any passive benefits. When we find passive benefits, we're going to categorize them and start codifying them. So the War Room has when you issue the recruit order. So the War Room doesn't have any passive benefits. Contact other plane, language about stuff. This is the issuing an order to perform research. Contact other plane about stuff. Obtain magical. You can use the trophy room to issue the trade order to obtain a non or magical item based on the rank of the trophy room. Research is contact other plane. Effect about trophy related stuff. Like these are orders. So we probably, let's just start marking them up since we know what they are. This is an order. Orders. So what we have the improve orders. We have passive benefits. Oh yeah, that's what these are, right? And then we have downtime activities. I guess that's technically what the character is doing to, like, while your character is using their downtime is using downtime activity in this facility, they blank. So I guess passive benefits, improve orders, maybe facility benefits is a better word. Let's just leave it as it is. Passive benefits. It works. So we're looking through, we're seeing orders, we're seeing more orders, we're seeing more orders. What do we got? Training area is empower. The character that spends. Okay, so here is a downtime activity. Let's see. Materials, issue a harvest order to obtain materials, issue a harvest order to create. Let's see. Yeah, training area. Okay, I guess this is probably the best place for us to start laying these things out. So, training, this is going to be downtime activities. Let's do it like that. Area. Because I don't think there's honestly that many downtime activities. You can issue a recruit order. This is orders, while this is the downtime activity. So let's grab this language here real quick. Scoop it up. There. Let's head to the next one. Once we compile all of the downtime activities here, we'll be able to look at commonalities and consistencies and then codify those consistencies so they are consistent, and then see is there a general, are there like any outliers that are breaking the curve? Is anything too soft? Is anything granting like multiple benefits at the same time accidentally? These are the things that this is the technical editing that we're performing on our own document right now. Technical editing is when you break down the actual code of the game, like what are the mechanics of the game, and you analyze and resolve conflicts or disproportionate options, like literally what we were just talking about. So this is the act of technical editing, and I do a lot of personal, like I technically edit my stuff all the time. Sometimes somebody comes up with an idea and throws out a bunch of stuff, and then they'll hire someone like me to perform this technical editing for them. It's like, we see this is wrong, or like this and this, these two things don't work together. Then the editor comes back to the creator and says, hey, we have these conflicts here. If we go with this one, here's what we're going to end up seeing. If we go with this one, this is what we're going to end up seeing. Which one of those seems more true to what you envision this project being? And I will take that idea and then I will codify everything else. And that creates a conversation between you and your technical editor to resolve what those conflicts are, or what's the smoothest way to have this thing work. Like, for example, if I were a technical editor that had been hired by Wizards of the Coast when they created the magic, the spell point option, the spell point variant rule, and said, hey, here's the idea that we're having: 2 points for first level, 3 points for second level, 5 points for fifth level, and by the time you get to 9th level, it's 13 points. As a technical editor, my response would be, why is a 9th level spell only 7.5 times more expensive than a first level spell? And why is a 3rd level spell 5 times more expensive. Why is a third level spell 2.5 times more expensive than a first level spell? And so that would then trigger a discussion about, well, if you want to be smart about it, you should make it a 1-to-1 point ratio, so you can just literally translate the number of spell slots that a character has and give them a mana pool that's a little less than that. So like a full caster would normally have 89 mana in their mana pool between all the spell slots that they get from level 1 to 20. So if you wanted to curb the abuse of spell points because they're more flexible, how about we drop it down to 80 points? And so when they finish their short rest, their arcane recovery, they can get back from level 1 to 20. They get anywhere from 1 to 20 points back. So technically they have 80 points on a long rest, but they can get up to 20 points back on a short rest. So technically that 20th level wizard has a battery of 100 spell points that could be spent over the course of the day. We should probably create limitations on how many high level magic spells they can cast, level 6+. Like that would be the consultation that I would have had with them if they had asked. So that's okay that they didn't. They didn't know me. They didn't know about me, and I didn't know what they were doing either. So I think they just kind of threw in the magic point idea, and I honestly I think they made it bad on purpose, so that people wouldn't just ask automatically, why aren't we using spell points? Why are we bothering with these spell slots? If they had done that, then they'd be like, well, crap, we're supposed to be making this thing similar or taste like previous editions to be able to pull in the old guard to bring them back in when they abandoned us in 4th edition. We're trying to bring back both the 3rd edition and the 1st and 2nd edition players to come back and try out 5e together. So we should probably keep spell slots, right? It's like, I don't know. There was psionics in 2nd edition. So what they ended up doing was they ended up using the psionic progression points. I believe that the cost of 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13. Nope. Psionics was 17 points. It was 17 points for a 9th level spell. 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. Yeah, it was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 13, 15, 17. But that made for like 230 psionic points to match what would be a 20th level wizard. So they wanted to scale down those numbers so it wasn't such a huge fat pile of mana. But I will argue that 100 mana is a very easy number to understand when it's 1 point for a 1st level spell and 5 points for a 5th level spell and 9 points for a 9th level spell. You can literally just look at what number is left in your mana pool and automatically understand roughly how many spells you could cast of each level. But then of course you put a cap on how many high level spells you can cast, so you're not flooding the game with wish spells. So there's that mechanical consideration which we've discussed before as well. But that's a tangent. But that's the role of a technical editor. So that's what we're doing right now. We're doing technical editing. Recruit. You can issue the recruit order. How about this? A character can participate in okay, so this is a downtime activity. And check out how this thing is worded. So this is an order. So an order is worded as you can issue the recruit order to attract an expert to accompany your character on the adventure or to aid in the operations of your facilities. And here's the mechanics that go along with it. While this is a downtime activity, a character can participate in a performance to gain inspiration for upcoming adventure or bastion orders. Each participant chooses a role. You can either compose, direct, or perform in a performance. Characters that, and this is roughly taken from, like, this is the idea that was in the DMG, but we're codifying it to work with the Bastion system off of a die roll. In the Bastion system in the DMG, you spend a month and you get 1 bardic inspiration die per character that participates. Honestly, that's garbage. It's garbage. It really is. That's crap. So instead, we have scaling success. The higher rank your bastion is, the better the more bastion points you can get. And we were talking about this, I think, last session, 2 sessions ago, about reverse engineering these mechanics so that like you could have this same instead of a downtime activity of your characters participating in a performance to gain inspiration, you could create this as an order that you issue to your spy network facility to discover hidden secrets about a location that you're targeting for an adventure, either like a dungeon that you're going to delve, or a fort you're going to siege, or maybe a rival facility that you're going to raid for a heist. You could issue your spy network to gather intel about the target location, and depending on how successful your spy network is at gathering this information, that's how many inspiration points you'll get, specifically targeting that location and like the stuff that's happening inside of that facility or in that dungeon or whatever you're targeting. So it becomes Bastion. And then if we're looking at like Blades in the Dark, or originally the Leverage role-playing game from D20. Leverage used to be a TV show on Ion Television. Leverage was a show about a bunch of do-gooding criminals that perform heists, and now they perform the heists for good, to like it's heists for goodliness, right? To improve the world through the heists. Like they sting bad guys, they steal from bad people, they set up bad people to take the fall for crimes that were otherwise hidden. And the whole show was based around they're going through the adventure and they run into a complication, and then they have a flashback, kind of like in Oceans 11, 12, and 13. They have a flashback demonstrating how they knew this was going to be a problem and what they did to resolve it. So when they encounter it, they first have that worried look on their face, and then they do their flashback, and you see them having a conversation with the guard at the door that they see. It's like they have this scared look on their face because they see a guard, and then there's a flashback, and they're talking to this guard, like in Ocean's 13. Like, yeah, I know you're having debt problems with your kid, and they need some braces too. How about I just get you some cash, and if you happen to see me in the casino, look the other way. So they come through the vaults. The guard is there. That's when your flashback happens with him sitting at the bar talking to the guy about his kid's braces and him sliding him, $10,000 to take care of his kid underneath the table. And then it flashes back to the present, and the guard like looks at him, and then he looks at the guard a little nervous, and he just turns and looks the other way, and he walks right by. That would be you getting your inspiration point to re-roll that check, because the reason you failed in the first place was because you rolled poorly. So if you rolled high, you would have been able to slip past that guard without a problem. But because you failed, you now have to create a backstory as to why you would have. Why you would get to re-roll that die, and like that little braces story is an explanation. So if you have a spy network running around inside of this, they're bribing people, stealing plans, putting equipment in, sabotaging locks, like all this spy stuff that they can do, that whenever you fail a die roll, that's when you trigger that bastion, that inspiration die to flashback, explain how you're using that bastion die to re-roll, and there you go. So that's the idea. Or like maybe instead of it being like a flat out reroll, maybe instead of inspiration points, maybe it's just bastion dice that you can use on the fly. Like here's a stack of bastion points, and you can spend them anytime that you want, presumably when you fail, but anytime you want, you can spend these points, and it triggers a flashback to explain how you were able to use this bastion die to ramp up the result that wasn't good enough for you to just let it go. That's the idea. So we're going to grab this chunk. And we're going to take this down into and this is probably, I think this is probably going to end up being like all empowering. So the training area, and now we're looking at the theater. We should probably put the theater up above. Theater. Thank you, Timely Timer. That is 1 hour. Yeah, I've got about We've got about a half hour left, and then I'm going to have to bounce. But we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow morning to do more artwork, and we're going to be back, roll an additional event each turn. That is a passive benefit. That's what we're calling them now? Passive benefit. And cut. There, maintain. Roll an additional event each bastion turn. Okay, just to touch base on what that means real quick because it's fun. Here's our complications. Hold on, let's get past the. Okay, here's our complications. Like we're saying with crafting, right? If I fail my crafting roll to make something, I would then roll a d6. So I'm going to roll a d6. I got a 4. So 4 is recruit. So I failed to make that suit of armor. The complication comes up as a recruit issue. Recruiting is generally involving with attacks, like attacking someplace or hiring someone to work on your team. So in recruiting here, the issue becomes current hirelings lack the skill to produce the item. You want to make a suit of armor, but for whatever reason, the hirelings that you have in your smithy, they aren't skilled. They're failing. They don't know. They ran into a complication. They thought they knew how to do it, but they don't know how to solve this problem. So I could issue the recruit order to hire a specialist who knows how to. So I mean that's pretty obvious, right? But this is it. You already it cost you 1 order to make that suit of armor in the first place, and now it's going to take you a 2nd order to resolve it. So if your facility only had 2 orders that you can issue it per week, the only thing that you're doing right now is trying to craft that fucking suit of armor, and even that could fail. This recruit check could fail. In which case, I've ran out of orders. I make no progress this week. If I failed the recruit order, I could potentially create an additional complication. Not only do I not have the manpower to be able to successfully craft an item, but now let's go down to recruiting. I issued the recruit order to try to resolve the complication, and that complication created a new complication. So what happens now? I was trying to recruit someone to upgrade my team so we'd have someone on staff that knows how to create armor, and their problem is I rolled a 5. Their problem is research involved. So now the target of the specialist that you were going to hire to make that suit of armor is discovered to instead be a saboteur. So now you could then spend a 3rd order, and you've ran out of orders, so you have to wait a whole week to do this. After the week, why isn't this suit done? Fuck. We have a saboteur. He's not actually helping at all. He's wrecking our shop. So research order to discover the target of sabotage and neutralize the risk. Discover the source of sabotage. And neutralize the risk. So it took you a week to discover what's going wrong. Well, it turns out this metalsmith that we hired is actually sabotaging our shop, preventing us from being able to produce armor at all. So if you failed to discover that you were being sabotaged, that's going to then require a 4th order. You're now eating up 2 weeks trying to figure out what the fuck is going wrong with this suit of armor, guys. Well, we had a problem in trying to discover why is our stuff getting wrecked. Well, let's roll another die, and we're going to roll into research. We get a 5. So now it's a recruit issue. Target of research becomes hostile and retaliates against the Bastion's interloping. So we were trying to make a suit of armor. We couldn't do it. We had to hire somebody to help us build that suit of armor. It turns out they were trying to sabotage us. And when we found out they were trying to sabotage us, now they're trying to destroy our smithy. They plant a bomb. So it's like, fuck. So now you're trying to disarm. Now you've got this issue of hostile retaliation as a recruiting complication. So let's go back up to recruiting and let's find out. We're now on our 5th order to try to resolve this, and we still haven't gotten someone on board who can help us make our suit of armor. But now we're in the 3rd week and everything is going sideways on us. I'm going to, under recruiting again, I'm going to roll another die. I got 5 this time. Recruiting order 5. Research. It spins right back down into it. So now I'm in a loop. So it goes from the recruit was sabotaging us. When we found out that the guy was sabotaging us, he planted a bomb. And now that we failed at dealing with the bomb issue, the targeted recruit is discovered to instead be a saboteur. I must have spelled that wrong. Research ordered to discover the source of sabotage and neutralize the risk. So now it upgrades. So now we had a rogue blacksmith trying to bomb our smithy, and when we found out they were there and that they planted a bomb, our solution now is, where'd this bomb come from? Like, where is this guy getting materials from that's creating a bomb? Now you're realizing that you have a bigger issue than just this guy hating on you. This guy has been hired by a rogue organization to attack your bastion. We're actually under attack and we didn't even know it. And now maybe you look out, it's like, fuck, there's a Black Ops wet team that's coming through. They just killed the butler. And now you're going to go to arms perhaps and try to defend your bastion. But at any one of these points, you could have made this an adventure instead. So a plot hook to investigate the saboteur's mission. Like, this would have led you away from your bastion to go back to the saboteur's home base and to find out he's part of a wetworks operation that's planning on destroying us. We need to take these guys out here now before they get to us. That then becomes your adventure, killing the wetwork team. And when you kill them, that resolves the complication of the guy trying to bomb the place. That gets the spy out of your house. And since you were able to clear up all this stuff, you can now actually hire somebody who can actually help you. And so now you can actually get the armor built. So it took 5 orders and an adventure over the course of 3 weeks for you to resolve that chain of complications. And now you finally get your suit of armor. So that's how the system, but you see, it was just 1 die roll per order to start generating this path of adventures. And now you have this hanging thread out there. Why are there wetwork teams being hired to destroy our bastion? And that becomes a whole new can of worms that if the characters want to explore that personally, that becomes their next mission. If they have something more important going on, they don't have time to invest in that, they could have a spy network bastion of their own, or maybe a pub network that can fish around for information about what's going on with this, who's got the hate on us. And so your bastion can find out for you, yeah, XYZ Corporation hates you because you're, I don't know, making them look bad or something. They want to eliminate you as competition. But like if your research failed, fuck, now they're onto us that we're looking for, and it just goes on and on and on and on, and you can run an entire campaign for literally years inside of your campaign world that's logically building stepping stones to get from one problem to the next, that is propelling your characters into either act on something that you think is really important or put out this fire. If this is so important that you can't put out this fire, give it to your bastion to put out. And if they screw up, it's going to get intense to the point where you need to step in. And then it becomes a huge can of worms. So that's the idea that goes into the system. And that's why we call it Bastion Campaigns. Because the cascading results, the consequences of the actions that you choose, and the die rolls of successfully executing those actions is what generates the campaign's actions and narrative in the story. So hopefully that made sense. So anyone out there, if that made sense, let me know, because we're going to be playing around with this. And again, it's an open invite to hang out in my Discord. Here's my Discord community here. You're welcome to jump in. And if these ideas excite you, let's play. We can have fun. Let's see. So we are currently looking at... that was a big tangent. I know that was a big tangent, but I think it was worth it. So let's see. We're here. We're looking at training area, theater. There it is. Facility can cast a teleportation spell once per day. Facility can cast a teleportation spell once per day. These are benefits. Downtime activities. These are additional passive benefits. I need to be marking that. Passive benefits. We resolve the add extra dice. Yeah, we resolve that. But we aren't taking into consideration the additional passive, like the teleportation circle, for instance, has the passive benefit of. Hold on. When making. Teleportation circle. Maintain. There we go. Cool, got that one set. Storehouse. So this would be a passive benefit. We'll codify all this passive benefit language. It's like this doesn't have any passive benefits. It has downtime activity. So theater, downtime activity, yes, because your characters are there. The teleportation circle, for instance, passive benefit, roll an additional event each bastion turn. And it also has, this facility can cast teleport spell the teleport spell once per day. That is also a passive benefit. Is that empower? Yeah, that's empower. So we need to mark that down as a passive benefit. So once we codify all of these, we'll be able to break them down too. Actually, I probably shouldn't be adding these up here yet because they aren't codified. Delete that. We'll go to passive benefits. There. Anything above this line is resolved. Anything below the line is still under consideration. That's how that works. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're back on track. And we'll get to orders last. So let's see. Trade. Hire, a storehouse holds materials for the use of creating more BP. Trade. Hirelings of your bastion attend an auction to acquire a magic item. The auction is held for 1 week. This feels like it should be in order. Yeah, I think that should be in order. Order. So we're not registering orders right now. You can issue the trade order, so we don't have to worry about that. Your facility produces enough animal materials to craft non-magical items of rarity and magnitude equal to the number of bastion points expended to improve that. See, that's really complicated. We need to simplify that shit. We're making the harvest check to attain animal materials or to resolve a complication. You can roll an additional bastion dice. So much simpler. So I suspect we're just going to scrap this all together here because that's starting to feel like nonsense. So I'm going to format the text and strike through it to see about getting rid of that. Meanwhile, order. Yeah, you can issue the trade order. Let's see. You can issue the research order. Spy network, maintain, counter espionage, maintain. You can protect your bastion from harm using a maintain order to surveil or defend, and you can use the recruit order to attack, because we didn't want to add addition. We already had 7 orders inside of the DMG, and the DMG already uses the barracks to protect the facility, the bastion, and it uses the research order or the recruit order to go attack a location. So those things already exist. They're just not codified the same way. We're codifying things for consistency. So these are orders. When your bastion is attacked by a captain, you can issue the maintain order, or your spy network to counter the sabotage. Right. So these are orders. This is pretty simple. We'll see if it gets more complicated. You can issue the craft order. You can issue the empower. Yep, these are more orders. We've had very little things of an actual, like, downtime activities so far. I know we're not very far down the stack, but you can issue orders. Orders. There you go. But yeah, if we keep this up, it's going to be really easy for us to find the pattern. Spin a bastion turn of downtime activity using the facility. That's your key right there. Spinning a turn of downtime activity as a downtime activity, right? Character can spin a bastion turn as downtime activity. Character can spin a bastion turn as downtime activity. Activity. This is Sanctum. Sanctum. I fucking love this book. I love this stuff. This is as a DM, I geek out on this shit so much. Like these prompts, like this loose structure, like these complication structures is all the improv prompt I need for me to be able to build an entire adventure or even an entire campaign around your characters fucking around and finding out. So it scratches that improv itch so good, and I love that. A lot of DMs, it takes quite a bit of effort and time and patience to be able. At least it took me a lot of time, patience, and effort to develop good improv skills as a DM at the table, to the point where I can get hit with anything, and I just think it's fun, because to me it's just playing jazz, or like somebody's changing the beat in their jazz music, and I find a way to make it curve together so it feels natural and is fun to listen to. Like, that's my job as a DM, to make things sound natural and to be fun to listen to. So if I do my job right, that is the experience that you walk away with, and that is what I'm creating these tools to try to create that relationship with DMs that maybe have not had an opportunity to develop that skill yet, or might not even know that's a skill that can be developed. Issue an order. Characters spin a bastion turn of downtime activity. There it is, downtime activity. That's the term, isn't it? So now we go orders, and we even have a hierarchy of like a logical order in which we're placing these things now. So this is all really, really good. This is Sanctuary, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go another downtime activity. And we're looking for these patterns, and this is coming out of the Sanctuary. It's like we'll be able to compare this downtime activity to all these other downtime activities to see how are they similar and how are they different. Are they structurally similar? Great. Do they have the same like resource cost or like provisions? That's great. Are they providing benefits that are drastically different from each other? That's bad. So we want to find a way to curve these things so that they're all matching each other's scale of power based on the rank in which you're able to do them, or the difficulty of the role. DC equals rank, effectively. So, like, again, we have that transparency. Like a DC 15 is effectively like a third rank task. Same difference. And we are almost out of time. I've got 20 minutes left. So let's make the most of it. You know what? I might just finish this up real quick when we're off, and come back tomorrow and mess around with this some more. Issue order, take a rest. Downtime act. That shouldn't be bolded. Whatever that was. And now, orders. Sacristy. Harvest. You create a talisman that replaces the material components for spells as determined by the rank of the bastion. You can issue an order to create a talisman that replaces the material components for spells as determined by the rank of the bastion. We need more details on this, but it's become an order, so we don't necessarily have to worry about it right now. Excuse me. Creature that spends a bastion turn, craft. Creating stuff is almost always going to be, it's either craft, empower, or harvest, just in general. Giving characters something for spending a turn there. Basically, you're saying you're going to choose to take a break from adventuring, and as a result of doing so, we're going to give you this perk. And that perk needs to be, that benefit needs to be a high enough level to warrant taking a break from adventuring for a week. Downtime activity. Reliquary. Pub. Craft order to make food. Issue research order to gather information. So those are orders, so that's already resolved. See, there's not a lot of downtime activities so far. We're only halfway through the list, but so far. Issue research order. Characters can spend a bastion turn of downtime, so we know that immediately that's a downtime. And then it has this empowerment thing going on. Again, that's a common theme for downtime activities, is generally going to be empower. So this is going to be order. And what is this, the theater? Oh, no, it's observatory. Issue the recruit order. Like the big difference here is, like, if it's a downtime activity, it's because your character needs to be there to execute the task, to complete the thing. Your character has to be there. You have to be in your facility to gain the boon that this location blesses your characters with. If you're not at that location, how are you supposed to get the blessing? But if you just need to have a suit of armor made, unless your character is building that suit and you want to boost to the check through your bastion, you don't need to be there. You can just issue the order for your bastion to do it. Hey, Francois. So far, this is all codifying really nicely. And this is going to be an issue of finding commonalities and make sure they all make sense. So here's issuing an order. And here's a meditation chamber. This is a downtime activity because your character spends a downtime activity here to do thing. Downtime activity. So I'm going to copy here. Order. And what is this? Meditation chamber? Yep. So far, most of these places only have one downtime activity, which kind of makes sense. I'm liking that. Some of them, like the Sanctum, had like 3 of them, which is a little outrageous. But I guess we're going to have standouts here and there. Like, some of them are just going to stand out. So I guess I'm going to be okay with that. Choose one skilled Bastion point to improve the research order. You can issue the research order. Empower, you can issue the empower order. Okay, there's nothing but orders here. Downtime activity. Let's go with all. Character that spends downtime activity in the facility. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using in this facility can make an ability check and add Bastion dice to the result instead of issuing an order to the facility to do so without the character. So if my character's there, I just freed up, like, to make that suit of armor that I would normally issue an order for my Bastion to craft that suit of armor. But if instead my character's going to do it and they're going to use the resources of the Bastion to do it, it now becomes a downtime activity, and the compensation that you get for taking a week off of adventuring and being here to build that thing is you get to add the Bastion dice to your character's ability check. So this becomes a universal downtime activity that anyone can take advantage of, that we can put in notation up top as like, here's like just general benefits that you gain from facilities, blah. Yeah, I think I like that. Issue order. Craft and empower orders to create items that require a laboratory can be completed more quickly. This is a passive benefit. The downtime activity, again, is to gain the Bastion die instead of issuing the order. So we now have an additional passive benefit category that's down in the... There we go. I was going the wrong direction. There. Is that right? Laboratory? Is that what we're working in right now? Yeah. This is making more and more sense. It's breaking down the logic this way is helping cement and codify what these things can actually do, and it creates a replicatable pattern that other people can create their own facilities with good guidance from these 30 facilities that we have to show how these things work, which we could include into creating your own facilities. And then once we do that, we could take, for example, Eric Tachuk's Bastions of Ravnica and codify all of the bastions of all the guild facilities that exist in Ravnica that he made, and codify them to the system so that they just work. There you go. Recruit. You can issue the recruit order to attract. Okay, so that's just recruiting. So that's an order. I really want to bundle and partner with Eric, because Eric helped me create the in command documents 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when I first started this idea, we had the in command system. In command of squads and armies, which eventually evolved into the Spelljammer fleet and squadron system that we have published down below, in the description down below. And then we have the in command of armies and guilds. Ukulele Bard was my technical editor in this project, and Eric Tachuk was, again, helping with the armies bits of this, but the guild system is what is now evolving into the Bastion system, in command of guilds and kingdoms. This was something that I was originally, and he stepped out of the project and says, I gotta go. I just can't be here anymore. I've got something's going sideways on us. Like, well, I mean, if you bail on us, I can't really give you credit for the book. And he's like, that's fine. I just got to go. So he had personal issues, and that sucked. But business is business, right? So I've been looking for an opportunity to work with him again inside of this game space. And it just happens that this Bastion campaign idea is going to end up curving out and working with him. So I'm really excited about that. Eric's a great guy. He really is a great guy. So, right, facilities. Guild, we're almost done. We're almost done with this shit. Can you believe it? Guild Hall, at least from structuring this. So I was planning on working on undead mobs tomorrow during lunch, but honestly, I think I kind of want to work on this. So we'll see. We'll see what feels right, but I might be working on this tomorrow at lunch. Craft, issue order. There we go. Maintain issue order. Okay. Garden. When you issue a harvest check to obtain plant materials or to resolve a complication. Orders. You can issue orders. Harvest. When you're making a harvest check to obtain plant materials or to resolve a complication, you can roll an additional bastion die, keeping the better result. There. And then orders, so we don't have to worry about that. Trade, when you issue the trade order. So these are orders. We don't have to worry about it. Order. Empower. Reduce the time to empower magic items by 1 degree. That is going to be a passive benefit. Demi-plane, of course. Each bastion point spent to improve either craft or empower increases the size of the demi-plane. Reduce the time to craft the non-magical item by 1 degree. Yep, this is all passive benefit stuff. So we're going to scoop all this and go down here. Really? Is that true? There's been no downtime activities since then. Double checking. Passive. Laboratory. Check. What are your orders? Downtime activity. Meditation chamber. Yeah, we got that already. Oh, I mean, yeah, we are on track. This is really simple. This might mean that we might be able to actually expand on ideas and find new ways to flesh everything out. This is exciting. Maintain. We issue the maintain order. Well, you can issue the maintain order. So these are maintain orders, and this is empower. When you issue the empower order, the crypt can empower a body. Can empower a body with divine magic as listed. These are orders for sure, because they say when you issue the order. But what about this? The crypt can empower a body. I almost want to make this an order. I feel like it could be an order. It could also be like the teleportation circle has like once per day you can cast teleport. This could be like once per day you can cast a spell. Here you go. That would be a passive benefit. Let's go with that. Because downtime activity doesn't make sense because the character is dead. They can't spend their downtime at all. They're dead. So making this a passive benefit makes more sense. When you issue once per day, the crypt can empower a body with divine magic. Targeting the body with the spell as listed on the table below for the rank of the Bastion. There you go. That's clumsy wordy, but that's what we're working on. So passive benefit. Let's go. Clappy clap. Passive benefits. Crypt. Damn it, I forgot to label what this is. I forgot to label what that is. What is it? Crypt. Demiplane. Demiplane's got a lot going on, so that's going to take a little while for us to chew through. Crypt. Cool. You can issue the recruit order. Okay. Easy enough. Auction house. Maintain order. Trade order. Okay. Orders. Issue craft order, empower order, trade order, orders. Research order, empower order, orders. What's up? People used to make medicine from bones and mummies. Okay. So you're saying there could be reason for us to have in the crypt a crafting order. I'll consider it. That would be like craft equals medicine stuff. Let's look at the big list of stuff to see if this makes sense. That's the crypt. That's the then we're on barracks. Issue order to attack. Issue the trade order. Trade order. Auction house. Order. Research order. Empower order. Orders. Arcane study is issue the craft order. Empower order. You can issue the research order. Order is orders. And hey, we did it. We got through all the facilities. So, not bad. So here's all our codification mess that we've got going on right now. And I've got 1 minute left in the session. It's 9:31, so it is time for me to bounce. So next time we work on the Bastion, it could be tomorrow, it could be Monday. We'll see which one it is. But when we come back, we're going to work on this on Monday no matter what. It's just a matter of, are we going to do this tomorrow or are we going to work on undead mobs tomorrow? I honestly don't know. We'll see where I'm at tomorrow. Tune in and find out. So we have passive benefits, and we're seeing some consistency between these. There's not a lot of passive benefits, but here they are. Yeah, and then we have downtime activities, which are things that the characters actually have to be at the facility to do. And I think we're going to find some consistency here as well. And the orders that are being, this is helping codify what those issues are, what those orders are that we issue. So I'm going to select all and cut. And go here to the end of the document. And drop all this stuff down into the well for us to keep track of. This is going to be such a fucking great book when it's done. I am legitimately excited. I'm as excited about this book as I was about the Spelljammer book, as I was about the color mana spell point variant rules. This is a good one. This is a really, really good one. I'm looking forward to building this book, illustrating it, publishing it, and sharing it, and using it. All the things that I build, I use in my games. Like, I build these things because I think they're cool and they improve the games that I run, which tells me that if there's anyone that thinks along the same lines as I do in their games, then they would enjoy it too, because it feeds that style of play. So there we go. Yeah, we have that. I think the Reliquary does that. Maybe it's the Sacristy. But we could potentially do that with Crypt as well. Crypt seems pretty niche though. We'll have to look at it to see if there's something that makes sense there. You can already make undead, so I mean that's a pretty big grab. We'll have to see how it balances, but yeah, that's an idea for sure. That might make sense including. So, but we'll break all that down and look at it next. That's what we're gonna do next, is codify all this stuff to make sure it all works the same mechanically, and then see, like, for this research idea, to create items in the laboratory complete more quickly, reduce the time needed to make those items by 1 degree. Like, can we standardize the language on this, and how many facilities does it make sense that if you're making things in that facility, you can make them faster, for instance? So, and then is there any kind of prerequisites or caveats that should be included that are easy to implement, that creates a bit of a barrier that makes you earn it more than just simply being able to pick it up? But we'll figure that out next time. So that's it for tonight, guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to continue with Eberron art. We'll be back at lunch, either working on this or building undead mobs for Eberron. We'll see which one makes more sense. And then I'll be back Saturday morning early to work on playtest stuff, which will probably be working on undead mobs like for the Eberron adventure. And then we'll have our playtest at 9:30 Seattle time till 1 o'clock. We're running the 4th level mega dungeon right now. We're crawling our way to 5th level. And then I'll be out for the weekend, and I'll be back Monday morning for more Eberron art, and then Monday night for more Bastion systems. So thanks a lot for showing up, guys. And Francois, as always, thanks a lot for the ideas. I'm glad that this is naturally clicking with you. That's encouraging that more people it'll click with. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. I will see you all on the other side. Thanks a lot.